Have you ever stood up and thought about whatever happened to that one Kickstarter campaign? You know the one, and had that pixelated art style and the guy wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt, or was it Thundercats? You know, the guy who stayed in an apartment or a house or whatever that one time and everyone got angry? Yeah, that guy. Well, his name was Maksym Pashanin. His two Kickstarter campaigns are Confederate Express and Knuckle Club, and neither of them ever saw the light of day. Today, we are going to find out exactly where Mr. Pashanin is, what he's doing now, and what's going on with those two games. Buckle yourselves up, this is going to be a weird one.
Hey guys, hello, and welcome to our Kickstarter. Today we would like to present you a video game called Confederate Express.
At a glance, it would seem these two games have nothing to do with each other, and they both seem pretty legit. Confederate Express, which raised nearly $40,000 on Kickstarter back in November 2013, is a post-apocalypse zombie roguelike survival game. Yeah, I know, just stick with me here. That sees you delivering packages to earn money and other rewards you need to survive. Somebody at Clickist apparently enjoyed what they saw, saying, "It harkens back to the golden age of adventure games." You can tell we said that because we're quoted on the page. How embarrassing. It got picked up by other sites too, like PC Gamer and Destructoid, so don't just blame us. It looked like a great campaign purely at face value. It had a playable demo available, plenty of gameplay videos and screenshots, and the developers even showed their face in the pitch video, the man of the hour himself, Maksym Pashanin, and his brother Dennis. It was hard to look at it and assume it was anything other than an honest attempt from upstanding young developers. Knuckle Club, meanwhile, looked to be a similar deal. Launched in July 2014, it had a nearly identical looking art style, but plays differently. There, you are a government agent as part of some futuristic task force designed to rid the streets of crime. How ironic. It would have been a brawler beat-em-up with some light RPG elements. That campaign too was well laid out, had plenty of gameplay screenshots, and the developers were all listed on the page. So what ties these two seemingly different campaigns together? One man, Maksym Pashanin. The story of Mr. Pashanin is a long, winding road full of confusion and infamy. Chances are you probably heard of him from outside the crowdfunding world when he got himself tangled up in California squatting laws and Airbnb. Oh, Maksym. The brothers Pashanin had been posting regular updates to Confederate Express for several months. That is, right up until February 2014, when they went dark. Then, just as suddenly as they left, they posted a new update on July 16th, announcing a brand new game called Knuckle Club. Alarm bells were going off immediately. Those bells became sirens, because those are louder, when people read the update itself and discovered the work on Confederate Express would be postponed indefinitely, with no definitive information on when or if the game would ever be finished. 'Twas a controversy that had erupted before. Both Double Fine and KJ Inafune launched new campaigns for new games before their first Kickstarter projects were complete. Inafune's Red Ash failed after it was picked up by Chinese publisher Fuse, but Double Fine's Massive Chalice raised over $1 million. Still, both campaigns raised huge red flags and led many to ask just how many crowdfunding campaigns should a developer have going at once. Traditionally, at least in spirit, Kickstarter and crowdfunding were for the smaller indie developers, but both Double Fine and Inafune's Concept were relatively large studios. Whatever you thought about the practice, they could at least handle multiple development projects simultaneously. One team that wasn't quite so large was Kilobyte, the studio Maksym Pashanin set up to develop his games. Kilobyte wasn't listed anywhere on the Kickstarter page for Confederate Express, nor was it mentioned in the pitch video. It was, and still is, listed on his Kickstarter profile, however, which was only used on the Confederate Express campaign. A simple online search reveals that he is indeed the founder and CEO, that the company was founded in 2013, and that it's apparently located in Austin, Texas, despite the Confederate Express Kickstarter listing their location as Navarre, Florida. It only keeps going downhill from here, folks. The first thing you'll probably notice about Knuckle Club is that it's been suspended by Kickstarter. We reached out to them for comment, but didn't hear back from them. We've been told in the past that it's company policy not to discuss suspended Kickstarter campaigns, nor do they ever officially discuss why a campaign was cancelled. Plus, they're probably tired of us by now anyway. We can make some reasonable guesses, though. For starters, this campaign was posted under the Kilobyte profile, not Maksym Pashanin, despite it coming from an account verified from him. Neither Pashanin nor Confederate Express were mentioned anywhere on this page. It's treated as its own game from a totally different studio. Second, this campaign is listed as taking place in Austin, Texas, not Navarre, Florida, where the first one was. That's not really an issue here, but worth remembering for later. A few days after Knuckle Club launched, now July 20th, 2014, Pashanin posted an update on Confederate Express's Kickstarter page. Here, he talks about how Kilobyte was restructured after he sold it and his custom game engine to a third-party investment group. Pashanin claims he was removed as CEO but kept on as an employee, joined by several other new hires and forced to work on Knuckle Club. I really can't say that, can I? Knuckle Club. Knuckle Club. Knuckle Club, whatever. This new game was the brainchild of this unspecified investment group, not Pashanin himself. Finally, according to Pashanin, this group also rebranded the engine as False 2D API and began licensing it out, or at least tried to. Again, doing some basic Google searches, I was able to find a wealth of information on both Kilobyte and this False 2D API engine. The website for False 2D was created in 2013 by Maksym Pashanin, well before he claims to have sold it to Kilobyte. Going to the website reveals only a logo and a contact form with no company logos or any copyright information. There's no info available on this API other than what's already associated with these two campaigns, and it doesn't seem like it was ever licensed out to anyone else. I decided to set up a stunning disguise and use this contact form to pretend I was an indie developer looking for tools for my hot new game, but I didn't get a response. Also in this Kickstarter update, Pashanin talks about this company also investing in Confederate Express, specifically funding its stretch goals. He doesn't make clear if he's referring to the stretch goals that were already met via the Kickstarter campaign, or if this investment funded the stretch goals that didn't quite reach in the initial funding period. It seems strange that this investment group would even launch a Kickstarter campaign for Knuckle Club if they were able to purchase Kilobyte, the False 2D engine, and give Pashanin upwards of $70,000, possibly more, to fund Confederate Express's stretch goals. Why would they give Pashanin so much money for Confederate Express when they are forcing him to work on Knuckle Club? Why would they give him any money to begin with, unless Pashanin stipulated it in the contract? Pashanin mentioned that this new investment group brought in new talent to work on the game. They would be the people listed on the Kickstarter page. We tried to reach out to everyone listed there, but we couldn't find any information anywhere online about any of them except Gabriel Cruz, who didn't respond to our request for interview. That's not to say that they don't exist, just that we couldn't find any information about them. So why exactly did Kickstarter suspend the campaign for Knuckle Club? Well, according to Polygon, Kickstarter stated the reason was because Pashanin used two different profiles, the personal one he used for Confederate Express, and the Kilobyte one for Knuckle Club. I guess Kickstarter doesn't mind talking to Polygon. Fine, whatever. This means Kickstarter had to have determined that Pashanin was indeed behind the Kilobyte Kickstarter account, not whatever investment firm Pashanin claimed to have bought him out. Kickstarter reserves the right to cancel any campaign it deems necessary, and as Polygon points out, that includes any project that misrepresents itself either by the project creator self-funding the campaign, or the failure to disclose relevant facts about the project or its creator. That leads us to the main event that'll inevitably be the shortest part of this video. Where is Maksym Pashanin these days? Well, if the past is any indication,
Shagel started feeling uneasy soon after two brothers rented her vacation condo in late May. They found the place on the home-sharing service Airbnb and arranged to stay for 6 weeks. Under California law, a person who lives on the property for more than 30 days is considered a tenant, and with that designation come certain legal rights. She couldn't just kick them out.
On July 21st, 2014, one day after Pashanin's update on Confederate Express, Corey Schogel accused the Pashanin brothers of squatting in her home in Palm Springs. She rented the condo out to the Kickstarter bros from May 25th through July 8th through Airbnb, and thanks to California's squatting laws at the time, this meant that the brothers were legally squatters, and had a right to live in her home, even though they clearly had no right to live in her home. Schogel had to hire a lawyer and essentially sue the Pashanin brothers out of her home. They weren't out of there for nearly 2 months, partly because Maksym was wearing disguises to avoid getting served the legal papers. When it was finally over, Pashanin left a comment on the Confederate Express Kickstarter page, simply saying, 10 out of 10 would squat again. Lovely. This isn't the first lawsuit involving Maksym Pashanin, however. Oh no. In 2008, both Pashanins checked into the Sonoma Inn Hotel in San Francisco, where they agreed to pay owner Salim Sheikh $225 a week to stay. On March 13, 2009, Salim told the brothers that they had to pay $2,700 worth in rent that was past due. That's 12 weeks worth, by the way. When the two refused, Salim filed a complaint with the city, saying the brothers hadn't paid him since December 20th, 2008. The brothers didn't show up for their court date, and the judge ruled that they had to leave the hotel and pay the $2,700 in rent owed. But wait, there's more! In October 2012, Maksym sued his landlord in San Francisco for $10,000 for breach of covenant of quiet enjoyment and breach of contract for ongoing construction in plaintiff's backyard. The case was eventually thrown out because Pashanin never bothered showing up for the court hearing. Sadly, I cannot say for sure where Maksym Pashanin is today, as neither he nor his brother ever responded to our emails. We can't know for sure what his goal was with the two Kickstarter campaigns either. Clickist editor-in-chief Greg Michek believes Confederate Express was a genuine attempt at making a game that just went sideways. I'm not so sure, however, given this guy's history, and that 10 out of 10 squatting comment doesn't exactly give the impression of someone sad about the way their Kickstarter campaign flopped. The Knuckle Club campaign is a dead zone, obviously, but the Confederate Express page is still lively to this day. At first I thought all these comments were spam, but on closer inspection, it seems some bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young backers are copy-pasting some screed about how they want their money back and are invoking some Kickstarter rule, as if that's going to make Pashanin magically vomit their money back at them. As one Confederate Express commenter says, the internet never forgets, so it's unlikely we'll ever be seeing the name Maksym Pashanin ever again, at least not for a very long time. He may turn up under false names, disguises if you will, but for that now iconic name, it's long gone. Just like Confederate Express, and just like Knuckle Club. Knuckle Club, right, Knuckle Club. Got it.
Thanks for taking the time and watching this video. We really appreciate your feedback and support. And of course, please donate to help make this project a reality.
My heart sank, and it just felt like I was being bullied. It felt like I was being threatened and bullied and trying to be intimidated. This is no longer just a guest who's not paying. This is someone who might be a professional con artist or scammer.